All right, what is up, guys? Welcome back to Handlebar Cyclery. We're here with Jay, and today we are going to talk about winter cycling kit. So what do you think, man? It's that time of year. Maybe a little late for some parts of the country, but at least here in Houston, we're just having to dig into that bottom drawer in the little cycling wardrobe. So what are you pulling out this time of year?
Absolutely, yeah, especially coming off a cold, wet weekend that we've just had. It's been a great time to take advantage of your cycling gear for the winter months.
Yeah, so dressing for winter weather can be tricky. I find that every year it's cold here in Houston anyway for such a short amount of time that I tend to forget what to wear. And the first few times I dress for cold weather, I usually am way overdressed. And then by the end of the season, I'm typically a little underdressed because it gets cold pretty late here in February. So for you, what sort of tips do you have for folks that are getting ready to ride in the winter?
Yeah, one of the number one things is folks overdressing. Some of the biggest tips, that we can offer are, one of the biggest is if you're warm, standing there at the start of a ride, you're overdressed already. Mm-hmm. You're going to be hot once you start riding. So back it off a little bit, make sure that you're a little bit cool before you start riding, and then you'll probably end up being perfect. Another great tip is to make sure that you layer up. So you hear that a lot with like skiing and things like that. It's important with cycling as well. You want to make sure that you have pieces that you can take off, especially if it's going to be cold at the start and then get progressively warmer or really sunny. You need to be able to shed those layers. Yeah, and one other tip that is, I think, really important is pay attention to the weather. Look at the forecast. That can be a huge game changer for you. If you don't know what, you need to know what the temperature is at the start of your ride and what it's going to be around the end of your ride. If you don't pay attention to that, you definitely can be in for a bad experience.
Well, let's have a look at some of the different types of gear you can wear. Jay, if you would, summon our friend Jethro the Genie out of the magic water bottle there, and let's see what we got.
What's up, Jethro?
How's it going, Jake?
Good, man. You look like you're a little underdressed for this 60-degree weather.
Yeah, well, I was down in the islands.
Oh, okay. Well, must be nice. Let's get you taken care of. Oh, yeah. Welcome back, man.
A little bit warmer now.
Yeah. This is much better for the temperature outside. So for 55 to 65 degrees, somewhere in there, maybe just a light vest. And then underneath, we've also got, you want to show the lung warmer. If it's a little
base layer,
a little cooler, you can get this piece here called a lung warmer. It just covers the core, protects the chest area, which is the most vulnerable to getting cold.
Plus it's nice in case you stop for a lobster lunch on the way.
So, and if it's a little bit cooler, then you can always add in some arm warmers just to cover the arms, which again, that's a layer that can be taken off as you warm up, thrown in your jersey pocket. And even if it's a little cooler down, down low 50s, mid 50s, maybe some knee warmers too might do the trick. But in temperatures, around 50s, 60s, you definitely don't want to overdress. You will get warm, especially if it's sunny.
Yeah, I found when I was first getting into cycling too that if on rides where I thought my legs would be cold, I didn't take into account how much they warm up once you start riding.
Absolutely.
And then typically I would just have to take the warmers off. So that definitely helps. And even on a windy day, you could get a vest with a sort of a wind barrier, a little bit thicker vest too, and that probably goes a long way.
Dude, you brought me back again.
Yeah, sorry, man. You can go back to the islands later. All right, so now we're getting down into the low 50s, maybe upper 40s. Sometimes low 40s, depending on the person. Everybody's a little different. You have to feel out how your body temp works. But we've got a nice windproof with a little water resistance vest, and then we've got water resistant and wind resistant arm warmers, and then windproof water resistant gloves, and then also water resistant and nice warm bib knickers on. So Jethro here is going to be nice and warm for his ride, but at the same time, as he heats up, the vest can come off, the arm warmers can come off, the shoe covers can come off. Whatever he needs to take off to get to where he wants to be temperature-wise.
I like that I'm visible, but I like to be visible back on the island now.
Okay. Back to the island soon.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, and where I was, it's 5 o'clock.
It's beer 30 back on the islands. Just don't rob a bank on the way back.
All right, so for your very cold weather, which this is Houston, so this kit is not used a lot, maybe a couple of days a year. But you know, for folks that are outside of Houston, especially heading north, this is something that's very normal for them. So, but when you get down into the 30s, you know, and below, this is what you want to be outfitted with: a nice warm glove with some windproof or wind resistance, a wind stopper front end on the jacket and on the arms, a nice full bib tights all the way down, full shoe covers, and a balaclava, which is actually a windstopper balaclava, so very, very warm. And then the nice thing about all of this, still, Jethro can shed things as he needs to. So if he gets hot, we've got,
look at that.
We've got a convertible jacket.
How cool is that?
And that becomes a vest. You know, and if it gets really warm, gloves can come off, obviously, as it warms up. If he's taking his sleeves off, he's going to take his balaclava off. But he's still got warmth over his core where it matters most.
Now, is there any sort of special care you have to do when you wash and launder the stuff that has the windproof or some of the rain stopper to help it last a little bit longer, or do you treat it the same as other kit?
It depends. You know, some things that have like DWR finishes and things like that, they you know, require a little more delicate care. But my rule of thumb with anything cycling is gentle cycle, dye-free, scent-free detergent, and air dry.
Yeah.
You know, never put it in the dryer. All of those things will make all your stuff last.
Absolutely.
Back in the bottle, Jethro. Okay, yeah, so just some final pieces that Jethro wasn't wearing that we can show. You know, you can always do, yeah, cycling cap, a wool cycling cap, or one that pulls down and just covers a little bit more, you know, the ears and the neck. Gives you
that's pretty sweet. You got
a little bit of warmth. Yeah, it goes right under the helmet. You know, and yeah, when it's cool out, or maybe even cold for some folks, depending on how your feet do, you know, toe covers are always an essential piece. A lot of times you'll use toe covers much more than you will shoe covers.
Yeah.
And maybe even a neoprene glove if it's, you know, nice and wet. And then one thing we didn't talk about earlier is tights. So if you get a pair of tights with no chamois in them, so it's very similar to like a running tight. You wear your normal short bibs, your bib shorts, and you pull your tights up over them, and then when you get hot, you just peel them off at the rest stop and throw them in your jersey pocket. So again, that's maybe an ideal piece for when it's, you know, really cold in the morning, but then it warms up really fast with a lot of sun. And another very important piece, wool socks. These are great, and you can get wool socks, you know, that you can wear year round, but a little thicker seasonal wool for, you know, nice 50-degree and under weather is a really great piece to have. And then the final piece here is this is a windstopper base layer, and this is a full sleeve windstopper base layer, so it's actually going to have protection, you know, all the way down the sleeves and then in the chest, but it's going to have a mesh back, so it's breathable out the back. I have one of these, and I like that a lot because you can just use that with a vest.
Yeah.
Or underneath a jersey. It's a really nice versatile piece, and then you don't need a jacket or warmers or anything.
Well, looks like I got a new friend, so my buddy and I are going to take off. Jay, thanks a lot for the time today, man.
Anytime.
And if you guys have any more questions, if you live locally, you're in luck. Come to Handlebar Cyclery, and Jay and the crew can get you hooked up with some winter gear. If you don't live here, so sorry. Best of luck. Catch you guys in the next one.